This is called the S9 Max, and it's the new gaming mouse from EWEADN. The S9 Max comes in a breathtaking finish. This one here, totally green, cool parrot green. It's a really amazing, I really like it. And by the way, it reminds me very closely of a BMW green or a Aston Martin green. It's a slightly metallic paint protected by a clear coat. At least I think that's how it is. A particularly glossy and a reflective finish which is particularly resistant to fingerprint. If at a first impression the S9 Max feels slightly slippery to the touch, during use, incredibly, it's a whole different story. It has always assured me a firm grip and absolutely satisfying grip. The coating stops before the completely black bottom. Here we find 3 PTFE skate installed. They are basic, not much different from our you can find in various other mice. But all in all, the S9 Max glides well without presenting any uncertainty during my test. And then there is the construction. The shell is well made, you don't hear any cracking or any kind. The buttons don't wobble, we don't have lateral movements. It's well built. Ergonomically, the shape is symmetrical. The main buttons are slightly curved for a better grip. The profile is very pronounced on the front, rises gently, and the shank with a soft hump. But wait, as you may have already understand, the S9 Max aesthetically is the exact clone of a Razer Viper V3 Pro. They have the same shape, equally symmetrical. Even the profile are modeled the same way, almost completely coinciding, almost perfectly. It's as if the dimension as the same. And indeed, going to verify the dimensions in detail, we notice they are practically identical. They differ by less than a millimeter from each other. And finally, the weight, with the S9 Max being slightly heavier than the Viper V3 Pro. It is settled at 65 grams, 9 grams more than the Viper V3 Pro. But if aesthetically the S9 Max is the twin of the Viper V3 Pro, we can't say the same for the hardware we find inside it. For the clarity, the S9 Max has a more than good hardware, but let's go in order. For the main buttons, the S9 Max mounts the Kali White Sword micro switches rated for 100 million clicks, and they are more or less on par with the Razer optical mouse switches Gen 3 of the Viper V3 Pro. For the side button, instead it uses one switch. For the scroll wheel, instead EWEADN has opted for the F switch encoder. Both the main and the side button present some pre-travel and post-travel. The press and the release are soft and fluid with a very satisfying feedback. The scroll wheel turns while scroll smoothly, is precise with crisp click. However, the most important difference between the S9 Max and the Viper V3 Pro is found right in the heart of the two mice, the sensor. The S9 Max mounts the PixArt PAW3395 sensor controlled by the PAR 2826 chip. From a technical aspect, the S9 Max sensor is slightly inferior compared to that of the Viper V3 Pro. The PixArt PAW3395 sensor of the S9 Max offer up to 26,000 dpi, not few but not as many compared to the Razer Focus Pro Gen 2 sensor, to precise 34% less. In the same trend, the tracking speed also continues. The S9 Max reaches 650 inches per second, 100 inches per second less than the Viper V3 Pro. And finally, we have a different value for ASAL, 50G for the S9 Max against the 70G of the Viper V3 Pro. Personally, I prefer lower values. 70G seems a bit too much to me. And regarding the pulling rate, the S9 Max is capable of offering a pulling rate frequency of 8000 Hz. Whatever we use it in a wired or wireless mode, the same as the Viper V3 Pro. Regarding battery life, here the S9 Max wins big against the Viper V3 Pro. In fact, it's powered by a 5000 mAh battery capable of offering up to 100 hours of battery life. And it's 200 mAh larger than the one installed in the Viper V3 Pro. But now, let's move to the software side. To customize the S9 Max, both a standalone installable app and the web software are available. For now, I much prefer using the standalone app installed on my PC. The web software currently in beta phase, and I like that it's indicated in bold letters. It's still a bit alright, especially in the UI design, and in my opinion need a bit more time to be used smoothly. Anyway, within both versions we find the same customization option. We can map all the mouse buttons as we want, adjust the DPI and the pulling rate, assign macros, and also other things like setting the lift-off distance between 2 and 1 mm, ripple, angle snap, and motion sync. I was really impressed by the S9 Max. It has always been very solid, very consistent. I didn't notice any performance drops. I found it well balanced. The build quality is good for the buttons are quality, as are the switches. The only thing is the PTFE skate that are a bit slow. Furthermore, the PixArt PAW3395 sensor has always been up to the task. Sure, technically the PixArt PAW3395 sensor isn't on par with that of the Viper V3 Pro, but anyway, if this sensor isn't enough for you and you want a more performant one, you could always look at the S9 model but opt for the Ultra variant, which is equipped with the PixArt PAW3950, very similar to that of the Viper V3 Pro. And finally, let's talk about the price. The S9 Max costs $60, while $100 less than the premium mouse it takes inspiration from. Almost a third. That's a lot of money. In short, the S9 Max presents itself as an excellent mouse, equipped with an excellent hardware, enclosed within a shell identical to the Viper V3 Pro, with a sensational finish at a really small price. What do you think of the S9 Max? Let me know in the comments, and as always, huge thanks for watching, and see you all again in the next one.